Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time being here. So I have been off this channel for a while now. I have had to put my energy and attention into other things, and I've been doing a lot of personal readings, and that takes a lot of energy. So I really just haven't had the time or the energy to put into my tarot channel. But I am back, and I am going to be uploading consistently on this channel again. And we are starting out with the June 2021 energy readings. So basically, I grouped these readings into elements, but I still did each individual sign. So if you go down into the description box, you will see timestamps for each sign, and you can watch for your sun, moon, rising, and or Venus sign. And I'm literally putting this intro at the beginning of each of these videos. So if you've heard this intro already, like in one of the other videos, you know, repetitive, so you don't have to keep watching it over and over again. But yeah, the timestamps are going to be in the description box and in the comments section. And also my personal readings are open right now, so I will leave the link to that in the description box as well if you want to book a personal reading. And if you've already booked a personal reading with me, I do have a few batches of readings that will be going out in the next few days. So, you know, check your email in the next few days, and more than likely your reading will be there. So yeah, I hope that this reading is helpful for you. It's basically just an overview of what you can expect throughout the month, just some general guidance, and just some positive news, positive energy that you can expect throughout the month. So yeah, I really do hope that is helpful, and I am looking forward to being consistent on this channel again. So let's go ahead and dive right into your reading. Hi Cancer, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time being here. So we are going to talk about your June do's and don'ts, the things that you should take part in for the rest of the month, and then the things that you should absolutely stay away from. And this will apply to anyone with a Cancer sun, moon, rising, and or Venus sign. And also, tarot is timeless, so if you come across this video after the month of June, it might still apply to your life. Just take it and apply it to, you know, whichever date you're watching it from. So if you come across this reading like in September, then just apply it to the month of September. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this, Cancer. So for your do's, we have the King of Wands and we have the Marriage card. So I'm seeing here that it would be a very, very good time for you in the upcoming weeks to start really planning out your future. It looks like there's something that you have been wanting to commit to, and you've been thinking about it a lot, but you haven't really taken the steps towards it. Now would be a very good time for you to actually start planning and taking steps towards those plans. Because this, like I said, is something that you've been thinking about a lot, but it seems like you lack the confidence to actually go ahead and initiate it. And this is something that you want long term. This is like a long term thing that's going to be around for a very long time. And so it's best if you start taking the baby steps now, because things that last long term, they usually take a long time to also build. For example, I'm hearing that for some of you, this could be like a long distance relationship, and you're wanting to move closer to each other. Like you're wanting to kind of close that gap and actually live, you know, with each other because you've been planning out your future. Now would be a good time to start taking the steps towards doing that. If it's not a relationship, this could also be like a career path or like a job. Maybe you've been wanting to pursue a certain career and it's going to take a certain amount of schooling to do so. Now would be a perfect time to start thinking about what school you want to go to, start filling out applications and things of that sort. So yeah, it would be a good time to start laying the groundwork for something that you've been putting a lot of thought into, and it's going to take a long time to build. So you might as well, get started. For some of you, this is like I'm hearing also for some of you, this is like a dream of yours that you've had for a long time, and you've been really putting it off because again, your confidence was lacking, and Spirit is basically saying now is the time to start putting in the groundwork, because it is going to take a while to develop whatever this is. So let's say, for example, it's like you have a dream of becoming like an actress or an actor. Now would be the time to start putting yourself out there. Now would be the time to start, you know, getting your headshots done and things of that sort. It's like it's going to take a while for you to have your big break and for you to break into the industry. And Spirit is saying that there's no time like the present to just get started. You know, like stop putting it off and stop thinking about it so much. Because if you want this long term, you have to have a concrete plan, and you have to actually start executing that plan. I am also seeing here that it's going to be very important for you to identify any blockages that you may have and remove those blockages. And that's something that a lot of people do backwards sometimes when they're making plans. What they'll do is they'll make a plan and they'll try to like rush full speed ahead, but they don't see that there's a blockage that's really standing in their way. So them rushing full speed ahead, they keep on ending up at like a dead end, or they keep on hitting like a brick wall because they're not taking the time out to remove the blockage. You see, like for example, let's say that someone has a goal of being healthier. So they start going to the gym and they're diligently going to the gym. They're like running full speed ahead into the gym. They're going consistently, but they're not seeing any results. That's probably because they haven't identified their blockage, which is their eating habits. Maybe they have very poor eating habits. Maybe they're not disciplined when it comes to their eating habits. So they're running full speed ahead towards their goal, but they have not identified that blockage that's actually working against them. So it's very important that even if you do have a concrete plan, it's important that in your plan, you take into consideration the things that are blocking you, because trying to go full speed ahead is not going to work if there's a blockage that's there. Pretty much, it's like you're trying to get to a destination and you're in a car and you run into like a brick wall, or like you're going towards a brick wall, and you're thinking that if you just put more gas in the car, if you step on the gas more, that you'll be able to go through that brick wall. And that's not the case at all. If a blockage is there, you can't just bulldoze your way past it. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Identify the blockage. It's going to make your life a million times easier. The blockage doesn't have to be physical. It can also be a mental blockage. It could be like maybe the way that you talk to yourself is a blockage, like your internal critic or your internal voice. It's a blockage because it's draining you and depressing you if you're talking to yourself in a negative manner. So that could be a blockage that you need to remove. You see what I'm saying? So identify any physical or mental and emotional blockages and take care of those, and your plan will then be able to run smoothly. Okay, so moving on to your don'ts. We have the Lovers card. We have the Change in Reverse. So whenever I see the Change in Reverse card, I automatically see that as a comfort zone. Being very comfortable doing things a certain way, being very comfortable with your routine. It's something that benefits you. If your comfort zone was uncomfortable, then it wouldn't be your comfort zone. And that's what's so difficult about stepping outside of it, is the fact that it is very comfortable. It has been created by you to make you feel as secure as possible. That's why people stay in their comfort zone. It's like a bubble that's created based off of internal or external discomfort. Like, let's say for example, you're someone who has a lot of social anxiety, right? It's very uncomfortable socializing with people. So what will you do? You'll build this bubble based off of that anxiety. You'll build this bubble around yourself where now you don't socialize at all. Your comfort zone is no socializing, staying indoors, or maybe just socializing on the internet where you don't really have to come face to face with people. You see what I'm saying? Your comfort zone is built solely based off of discomfort that you're trying to avoid. So it makes perfect sense that, you wouldn't be able to step outside of it. And one way that you can combat that is to kind of analyze and critique your discomfort and kind of break that down and tackle that. And it'll make stepping outside of your comfort zone much easier. So going back to what I was saying about the social anxiety, you could start to kind of research that and kind of break that down. What causes your social anxiety? What type of insecurities do you have that aid in that social anxiety? Is there ways for you to overcome, those insecurities and things of that sort? If you start breaking down the fear that's associated with stepping outside of your comfort zone, it'll be much easier for you to start taking the steps towards stepping out of it. And it'll be worth it because you do reach a point where you start to outgrow your comfort zone. You do reach a point where it pretty much makes you feel stagnant. And for some people, they can stay that way for forever, like they don't mind. But for those of you who are watching this, I'm thinking that you do mind, that eventually you do want to step outside of it. I think that spirit may have been sending you like signs or messages that you need to step outside of it. Maybe you've been really drawn towards certain people online who are achieving certain things, and it's like it's stirring up something inside you, like, wow, I want to do that, I want to achieve that. That's spirit's way of kind of telling you you can have that, but you have to step outside of this comfort zone. So yeah, I think it's time for you to dissect that world outside of your comfort zone that makes you so anxious and fearful. It's time to dissect it and figure out why, and to start taking small steps towards stepping out of it. Even if you have to just give yourself small goals or small tasks every day in order to combat that discomfort, is what I'm seeing. And this is going to definitely come in handy for what I was talking about earlier about you making plans for your long-term goals. You're going to need to step outside of your comfort zone. So it makes sense that in your don'ts pile, your don't cards are basically saying to not stay inside of your comfort zone, no matter how good it might feel or no matter how scary it might feel outside of it. That's what I'm seeing. And also, I'm seeing here that it's probably a good idea to distance yourself from anyone who encourages you to stay in that comfort zone, is what I'm seeing. Because there may be someone who you're very connected to, and even if they don't do it on purpose, they could be really encouraging you to stay in your comfort zone because they're a part of your comfort zone, so they don't want you to elevate or evolve out of it. Doesn't mean that they're not a good person, doesn't mean that they're purposely trying to sabotage you. They are just in their comfort zone the same way that you are. You are a part of their comfort zone, so you stepping outside of yours will make them uncomfortable, so they could be kind of encouraging you to stay in it. But you know that you have bigger plans or bigger dreams and a bigger vision, so you have to step outside of it. And you stepping outside of it, like I said, it'll force them to step outside of it too, so it could benefit them even if they are not ready to do so. Okay, so we're gonna end it with your blessings, like something good you can expect towards the end of the month, or throughout the rest of the month, I should say. Some good news or like a blessing that's coming your way. Okay, so the two cards that we pulled for the blessings, we have the Knight of Cups in the reverse, and we have the Privileged Lady. So with the Privileged Lady's card being here, this is an actual person that it feels like is going to be entering your life. Someone who's very well off in some way. I feel like they are either well off financially or they're well off emotionally in some way. Like they're very emotionally mature, or they are very confident within themselves. They are abundant in some area of life, whether it be financial abundance or whether it be like emotional, spiritual abundance. They have a well of something, like a well of knowledge, a well of money. It's like they have something that's in excess that other people don't have. Like, for example, they're smarter than most people, or for example, they have more money than most people, or they have more confidence than most people. It's like they have some sort of trait that is more than most people have, and they're going to be sharing whatever that is with you. It's what I'm seeing. And initially, I'm feeling that there could be some discomfort with this initially. Let me pull one more. I'm feeling discomfort from your end. Yeah, I'm feeling some discomfort from your end. Possibly some intimidation. But don't be, because like I said, whatever this person has, it's going to rub off on you. But you have to not sabotage it, is what I'm hearing, or you have to not let your insecurities get in the way. Okay, for example, let's say that you come across someone who's very, very confident in themselves and they want to befriend you. If you're not a confident person, you could feel kind of like, oh, like I don't know about this. You could feel kind of intimidated. But what you're needing to do is to befriend that person, because their confidence is going to start to rub off on you, or you could start to learn something from them and you could become more confident. You see what I'm saying? And that might be a part of what I was talking about earlier about stepping outside of your comfort zone. You might actually meet someone who's very different than what you're used to, and don't shy away from that, because like I said, it's something that's going to help you to grow. Like, for example, if you meet someone who's very, very intelligent and they have a lot of information about like a certain topic or whatever, don't think like, oh, I'm not that intelligent, or I don't have as much info as them, so I don't like being around them, or it makes me feel inadequate. Learn from them instead. It'll brush off on you. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes our insecurities can make it so that we feel like we are repelling people who have certain things that we feel like we lack, but the universe could actually bring these people into our lives in order for us to awaken that part of ourselves. So it's no need to be intimidated, and your intimidation is more than likely because this person possesses traits that you also have deep down inside, but you have been suppressing them, or you haven't been nurturing them as much. So if you come across somebody who's very, very creative and they're very good at like some sort of art, and you're also an artist, but maybe you haven't been practicing as much, you haven't been feeding your craft as much, you could come across this person and initially feel kind of intimidated by them, but really the universe is saying to you, this is where you could be, and I'm sending you this person across your path because this is you. This could be you. And instead of being intimidated by them, stick by them if they are a genuine person. I'm not saying to just stick by. If they're like a toxic person, then obviously don't stick by them. But if they're like a genuine person and the only thing that makes you uncomfortable is the fact that you're not where they are, or you feel like you haven't developed as much as they have, stick around, because eventually this is going to help you to grow. This is going to help you to learn. That's like if a group of like CEOs and they run a multi-million-dollar company, they invite you out to lunch. Are you going and you're someone who runs a business and your business is very small and you're trying to scale it? Are you going to let that like intimidation keep you away from that lunch, or are you going to go and interact with them and learn from them? You see what I'm saying? Because the universe is bringing someone into your life, and whatever they possess, it's something that you also are going to possess, but you've been holding yourself back. So the intimidation you're feeling, it's not meant to drive you away. It's actually to encourage you and to motivate you. So keep that in mind. And it doesn't even have to be that you meet this person like physically. This could be someone who you meet online. And you could feel intimidated by them just through, the online interactions, just by watching them online. Well, keep watching them. Keep watching them or keep interacting with them, because there's something in them that you are needing to awaken. So that's it, Cancer. I really hope that this was helpful. If you want to watch any of the other readings, feel free to do so, because again, this applies to your sun, moon, rising, and Venus. So if you have other zodiac signs in those placements, then you can go ahead and watch the other videos. And if not, I will see you guys in my upcoming videos. Bye. Okay, Scorpio, so we are going to do your June 2021 reading. And if you come across this video after June, tarot is timeless, so it could still apply to you. And again, this is going to be for Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. So we're going to start out with your do's and don'ts, the things that you should take part in the upcoming weeks, and the things that you should not take part in, things that you should stay away from. And then we are going to close it off with some good news or a blessing that you can expect. All right, Scorpio, let's start with your do's. We have the Knight of Wands and we have the Sudden Wealth card in the reverse. So immediately what I'm hearing is that what you're being asked or advised to do is to make sure that you are speaking your mind and speaking your truth in the upcoming weeks, even if it means that you have to sacrifice something, okay? Even if it means that something... trying to figure out the best way to say this, because I'm not saying to be reckless and just start burning bridges, but I feel like there's some area or something that's gonna take place where you really need to speak up and speak your mind. Like, for example, if someone has been mistreating you and you've been keeping quiet to keep the peace, you're going to want to finally speak up and defend yourself to this person, or let them know that they're being disrespectful or that they're crossing a boundary. You're needing to let them know that, is what I'm seeing, because it's just going to get worse and worse. And you not saying anything and you being quiet is actually like turning you into like a ticking time bomb. Like eventually you're going to end up exploding, or you could end up imploding, one of the two. You could end up building up all of that kind of like anger or resentment, and then eventually it just comes out, and you might say things that you don't mean to say, or you might say harsh things that you later on regret, or you can implode where it might actually be worse to implode, where you just start to get really sick. Like it starts to actually fester away at you inside. You might start having like digestive issues, issues with your heart, things like that. Like when people internalize things and they start to implode, just think of it as like an explosion that's taking place on the inside. It's affecting your insides. So both of them are bad. Both of them are bad. And in all honesty, I'd rather you explode and curse somebody out than to implode and destroy your body. But you could avoid both by just speaking up instead of waiting for things to build up and waiting for things to escalate. So that's why I said, even if you have to sacrifice something, meaning even if you if you speak your truth and it upsets someone and they choose to distance themselves from you, then that's just on them. I mean, that's just what's going to have to happen, because you can't keep on tolerating this, whatever this energy is, because like I said, you're going to end up exploding or you're going to end up imploding is what I'm seeing here. I'm going to pull one more. Okay, the Distant Horizons card. All right, so I'm also seeing here that this might actually be a good time for you to really release or turn your back on anything that has just not been working out. I'm hearing that some of you are stuck in, what is that? What is it called? I'm gonna look it up. One second. The sunk cost fallacy. That's what it's called, I think. Hold on, let me look it up. Okay, yeah. Individuals commit the sunk cost fallacy when they continue a behavior or endeavor as a result of invested resources. So basically what it means is that because you've put a lot of time and energy into something, you want to continue putting time into it. It's like those people who've been in a relationship for like 5 years and the relationship is literally going nowhere and it's actually sinking, but they're like, no, I put so much time in, I have to keep putting time in. And that's why it's called the sunk cost fallacy, because the fallacy is that you're just going to actually waste even more time. It would actually work in your benefit to cut ties despite how much time you've put in. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm seeing here for some of you. You may be stuck in a sunk cost fallacy loop where you've invested a lot of time into something. And so in your mind, it makes sense to keep on investing because you want a return on your investment. But if you pay attention, logically there is no going to be no return on it. So it's best for you to just remove yourself altogether and go start over elsewhere. So that's what I'm seeing. If you've been, like I said, investing in something and it literally, like you can tell that it's just literally sinking and it's causing you to sink with it, then no matter how much time you've invested in it, it might be time to cut that cord and go start fresh elsewhere. And also remember that anything that you put in, any energy that you put into anything, it's always going to come back to you. It might just not come back in the form that you would expect it to. Like if it's a relationship that you put a lot of energy and effort into, all that love and energy is going to come back to you. You're going to get, rewarded back with all that you've put out. But it might not come in the form of that specific person. It could be you cut ties with that person and then boom, you meet someone and they give you back everything that you were trying to get from that other person. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it might come back to you, or most likely it will come back to you in a different form, whatever this is. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. That's just an example. You can invest your time and energy into anything in life and be stuck in that loop. But like I said, if you choose to kind of cut ties with that and to start over elsewhere, all that energy that you put in is going to come back to you. It will never come back to you if you stay stuck in this loop, is what I'm seeing. Okay, so let's look at your don'ts for the month. So we have the Hermit card, and we have it in reverse in the Mature Man card. Okay, again, this is a repeat message from what I just said. It's not a good idea to hold things in. It's not a good idea to allow things to keep, like you just keep letting things slide. Like, okay, well, this person said something disrespectful, I'm not going to say anything back. Or this person was being passive aggressive, I'm not going to say anything back. It's like, yes, I understand you're picking and choosing your battles, but like I said, eventually it's going to cause you to explode or implode. You need to set some sort of boundaries. You can still do it in a mature way. You can still do it in a way where you feel, you still feel empowered. Because for some of you, this is a thing where you feel like it's giving your power away by responding to certain things. Like certain things, you're like, I'm not going to give that my power. I'm not going to give that my response. And I do understand that. And that is a beneficial way to be sometimes. But other times, if you're continuously letting these things slide or letting them go, go, like I said, eventually it's going to build up and it's going to erupt out of you, or like I said, you're going to end up imploding. And so you can still, it's like you may need to find a way to address these things in a way that still makes you feel empowered. Like if you address it in a way that is very like mature, that's not you giving your power away. You know, when I'm dealing with a very immature person and they're like constantly trying to pick at me and things like that, the way that I'll address them is that I'll address them like they're a kid. I'll kind of say like, are you okay? What's the problem? You seem to be going through something right now. You know, like just really assert your, I don't want to say assert your dominance. Okay, that sounded very Capricorn of me. That's my Capricorn coming out. But you get what you get what I'm saying. It's like you're needing to still address it, but you can address it from a mature place. You don't have to like give into the immaturity and make them feel like you are feeding into their foolishness. You can definitely defend yourself and put boundaries while still maintaining your position of authority or your position of power, is what I'm seeing. Let me pull one more. Even like a simple sentence like, you know, you're not allowed to speak to me that way. Please don't speak to me that way, or else like I'm going to walk away from you. Like something like that, like really exerting your making your boundaries very clear. I keep on wanting to say exert your dominance. See, I feel like this is not coming from me now. That's some of your energy. If it keeps on, like if it keeps on slipping out. Let me pull one more. Community card. Concern card. Okay, so this is a separate message. I thought this was going to clarify that other message, but this is a whole separate message that just came through. You want to be very careful about voicing your concerns to too many people. And that could relate to that last message, but I feel like it is separate. There's something here about you being confused or concerned about something and you looking for advice in too many places to the point where it actually confuses you. That's why I said this sounds like it's a separate message from that other one that I just said. If you are stuck on something, yeah, you can go and ask like one or two people that you trust for their opinion. But if you ask too many people, or you ask, like if you get too many outside information, it's like it can make you feel even more conflicted than you already did. It's kind of like when you have a question about something and you go and watch like a million different tarot readers. I'm sure we've all had that phase in our life where it's like you watch like 10 different tarot readings. You're basing them you're clicking on them based on like their title alone, instead of picking like two good readers that you resonate with and sticking with them. You're like just clicking on random readings just based off the title and the sign and all that. Then you leave feeling even more confused, like, well, this reader said this, but then this reader said that. It's kind of like that. It's like if you get too many outside opinions, it can leave you even more confused than you initially did. So if you need advice about something, you're better off asking one or two people and then sitting and meditating and asking God or the universe or spirit for the information to be downloaded so that you can you can get that wisdom from your higher self. You see, so be very careful of that. Just be mindful of that. And also just be careful of who you're telling your business to in general. Some people, they secretly enjoy seeing you down bad, so they want to hear all your business. Be careful. And I'm not saying that to make you paranoid or anything like that, but you're a Scorpio, so I know that you already know that. You already know that some people, like, they ask you how you're doing just to see, because they want to see you down bad because they're miserable. So be very careful of who you confide in, but I feel like I don't even have to say it to you because, again, you're a Scorpio. So, and we're going to finish off with your blessings or your good news that you can expect. So we have the Devil card in the reverse. Ooh, okay. I love that card being in the reverse. And the Message card. So with the Devil card being here in the reverse, again, one of my favorites when it's in the reverse. Because basically it means that there's something that you have not been able to control, and now you are going to finally gain control of it. There's nothing worse than feeling like something, well, to me, there's nothing worse than feeling like something is overpowering you and you don't have the ability to stop it. Like if you have like an addiction to something and you just are compulsively going towards that thing and you really want to stop, and it's like no matter how hard you try, you feel like you can't. You feel like this thing just has this hold over you. To me, there's no worse feeling. And again, it could be because I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. I'm a control freak. I like being in control. So if something is controlling me, it really like lowers my confidence, and it really just, it bothers me. It really, really bothers me. So I'm seeing that for you, you may have been going through that as well, where there's something that's had like control over you. Like you've tried to stop, you've tried to break the habit, you've tried to break the addiction, and you have not been able to. And I'm seeing here that a blessing that's coming your way is that you're finally going to be able to break whatever this pattern is, whatever this addiction is, whatever this could even be like a toxic connection. You're finally going to be able to break free from it because of some information that you're going to be getting with the message card being here. It's like information that kind of changes your perspective or pushes you in the right direction, or pushes you in the right direction of someone who could possibly help you. It's information that you're definitely getting that's helping you to break free from this. Let me pull one more. Yep, despair card in reverse. High honor card. Yeah, whatever information this is that's coming through, it's shifting your whole perspective. Your entire perspective is changing. And it's going to empower you enough to be able to break free from this. Now, I'm not saying that just because you get a piece of information that automatically means that you're no longer addicted to whatever this is. You're still going to have to obviously, do some work to remove yourself from certain addictions or hobbies or patterns. You're still going to have to find something to replace this so that you won't fall back into it. But I feel like whatever it is that you hear or whatever information that you get, it's going to give you like the wisdom or the knowledge to know how to overcome this thing. You see what I'm saying? It's going to give you like a blueprint or like a map of how to overcome this thing, whatever this information is that you get. It's kind of like, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like back in 2016 when I was really, really, really still stuck on the narcissist that I dated. And I was really stuck on him, and I was really like just devastated at the things they did to me. And then I figured out, or I came across information online about narcissistic abuse. And it's like something clicked in my brain, and it helped me to be able to take the steps towards recovering. Because if not for that information, I was just thinking that this is a person that I'm obsessed with and I'm in love with and I really want to be with, and they're hurting me. But then you learn about narcissistic abuse and you're like, oh, this is like some whole other shit. Like, this isn't like a normal thing. This is something that I'm going to have to probably get professional help to overcome, and I'm probably going to have to join a support group to overcome. And you see, that information in itself was enough to lead me in the right direction away from this person, where before my perspective was making it so that I was stuck and fixated on them. So whatever this is, like I said, that you like that it's overpowering you, you're going to get some sort of wisdom or some sort of information or knowledge that's going to lead you away from the situation in order for you to start to put work towards clearing it all together so you won't fall back into it. So that is it. I really hope that this was helpful, Scorpio. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch any of the other readings, you can go ahead and do so. Like I said, this applies to your sun, moon, rising, and Venus. So if you want to watch for those signs as well, you can. If not, I will see you guys in my upcoming videos. Bye. Okay, Pisces, so we're going to do your do's and don'ts for the remainder of the month. And basically, we're going to talk about, the things you should take part in, and then also the things that you should stay away from. And then we're going to finish up with your blessings that are coming into you for the month, or like any type of good news that you could be expecting. And this will apply to Pisces, sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. Okay. And also, quick reminder, even though I did say this in the intro, my readings are open. So if you want to book a reading with me, the link to that is in the description box and in the comment section as well. All right, Pisces, so let's talk about your do's first. So we have the Six of Swords and we have the gift card. Okay, so for the rest of the month, it will be a very good idea for you to prioritize your peace of mind. The Six of Swords is basically about you moving from a place of, anxiety or conflict, or just things not running smoothly for you, and making the conscious decision to move away from that energy and to prioritize your peace. No matter what that means that you have to sacrifice. Like if you have to distance yourself from other people, if you have to distance yourself from certain habits or certain hobbies that you have that may not be beneficial for you anymore, it's like you're needing to really prioritize your peace. And again, that could mean setting boundaries with certain people or setting boundaries with yourself and telling yourself that you're not allowed to engage in certain things. So prioritize your peace, and I feel like you will be rewarded for it, because when you prioritize your peace, it does raise your frequency, and you'll be surprised at when your frequency rises, how things just start kind of aligning and working in your favor. Like, have you ever experienced leaving a certain detrimental relationship, and as soon as you leave, something great happens to you, like almost immediately? It's like the universe brings in something to replace that person, and a lot of the time it's because that person was lowering your frequency, or that person was weighing on you energetically, and so there was no room for the universe to kind of like summon in or like usher in any type of positivity into your life. And it's like as soon as you move away from that, or make the conscious decision to move away from it, the universe will reward you with this gift, whatever that may be. Let me pull one more card for you. This could also be a good month for you to focus on being of charity or of service to others. That may actually bring you peace of mind. If you have been struggling with an issue or a problem, and you're having a very hard time figuring out what the solution is, turning your attention onto other people's problems might be helpful. And I know that might sound kind of iffy, because usually it's like the opposite advice. Usually you'll get to the advice to focus on yourself and to tackle your own problems and to not try to distract yourself with other people's problems. But there's some times where your problems are so overwhelming, and you've already tried to tend to them, but it's still like weighing on you. It really can be healing for you to help other people. Like I don't know if you know who what is his name? Robert Herjavec, I believe his name is, from Shark Tank. I was reading somewhere that when he went through his divorce, he was so distraught and heartbroken, he just didn't know what to do with himself. And it's not like he was running away from his pain. He was trying to tend to himself, but divorce is something that's extremely earth-shattering for people. And so he actually started doing a lot of charity work, and he was saying that being of service to other people was actually helping him to heal his own broken heart, and it was helping as like a positive distraction for him. So for some of you, turning your attention to some sort of charity work or something along those lines can actually be very beneficial for you. And that's perfect for Pisces, because Pisces are known to be a sign that it's very compassionate, very giving, very caring. So let me pull one more. Also, I'm hearing gifting yourself things that make your life easier. Don't hesitate to invest in things that are going to make your life easier, is what I'm seeing. If you're going to spend any money in the upcoming weeks, it should be spent on things that are really simplifying your life, is what I'm seeing here. I'm trying to think of like an example. I don't know. I can't. I'm like going blank right now. An example of something that simplifies your life. I haven't bought anything in so long, I don't even know. I mean, I bought like an electric toothbrush recently. I guess that could be an example of something that simplifies your life. Electric toothbrush versus a manual one. I guess that could be a decent example. But I think that y'all get my drift. Like anything that'll help you, like with your housework, or anything just things that make your life a million times easier. Like those little gadgets and things that they sell on Amazon that just make life much easier for you. Don't be afraid to invest in them. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help as well. And this is definitely a theme that I've been seeing in my own life, is that I'm realizing that a lot of things that overwhelm me, that I have to complete or get done, they overwhelm me because these are tasks that really I should be getting help with. It's like just certain things throughout our life that we don't even realize are so heavy because we're independent, or we're too independent, and we think we're supposed to be able to do it all on our own, and we don't realize how much of a burden it actually is, and until we actually ask for help. Like for example, I had to get surgery a couple of years ago, but it was a very minor surgery. But my sister came into town, and while I was getting surgery, she cleaned up my house. Like she cleaned up like my bathroom, she cleaned up my kitchen, like she cleaned up my whole house pretty much. So by the time I got home, it was like spotless. And I really underestimated how helpful that actually is, because if she didn't do that, I would have just came home and rested, and then once I was done resting, then I would have just got up and cleaned. But it's like that whole, that whole, I wouldn't call it a burden because my house is, clean already, but she just went and like really organized it and cleaned it. So it wasn't like it would have been a burden for me, but it was just really nice and really helpful to not have to worry about that. So sometimes you don't really realize how much reaching out for help can help you because you're so independent. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. In the upcoming weeks is what I'm seeing. It's going to make your life a million times easier. And people don't hesitate to reach out to you for help. So you shouldn't hesitate to reach out to them is what I'm seeing. So don't let your independence or your fear of bothering people, don't let that stop you from reaching out to them and asking them for help. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So moving on to your don'ts pile, we have the Nine of Pentacles and we have the main male card in the reverse. Excuse me. Okay. So with the Nine of Pentacles being here in the reverse, this is a repeat message to what I was saying. Don't be so independent to the point where you are actually doing a disservice to yourself by trying to be too independent, by not wanting to ask for help whatsoever. You actually are going to be hurting yourself more than anything in the upcoming weeks is what I'm seeing, because things could get kind of things can get kind of overwhelming for you is what I'm seeing, and you're needing to ask for help. If you need the help, ask for it. Don't be afraid to do so, because I'm just seeing here, I just keep on getting this energy of you having either too much pride or you being in fear that you are hurting someone, or that you're burdening someone, I should say. That could be a trauma response. I'm not even gonna lie. In my case, I feel like it is a trauma response at times. I don't want to ask someone for help because in the past I've been neglected so much and rejected so much and abandoned so much that it kind of caused me to be, or to feel like I have to be overly dependent. And so that is a trauma response, that thing in your head that says, no, you're a burden to people, don't ask anyone for anything. That's a trauma response. And that's something that some of you may be needing to tackle. Let me pull one more. Yep, Great Fortune card, pride. Yep, pride and thinking that you're being considerate of others, but in reality, they wouldn't mind helping you. In your mind, it's like you being considerate. I don't want to ask them because I don't want to burden them or anything like that. So in your mind, you think you're just being a considerate person, but if you would actually ask them, they would be like, no, I don't mind doing that. No, this isn't burdening me. So yeah, that's why I said it could be a trauma response, because I'm seeing that it's all in your head. It's in your head that you're a burden to people. You actually aren't. Yeah, so be mindful of that, because you're going to make your life a million times more difficult, not just in the upcoming months, but just throughout life in general. You're going to make your life a million times difficult by convincing yourself that you're a burden before you even ask. If you're someone who naturally doesn't want to burden people, then more than likely you're not burdening anyone. I understand that you don't want to be those types of people who are always putting responsibility off on other people and who are very inconsiderate. You don't want to be that. But I feel like you can't be that. Even if you like try, you can't be that, because you're just the opposite of that. Like in the past, you could have been around people who didn't have a problem with using people, who didn't have a problem with, dumping all their problems on people and things like that. And so you could have observed that and could have been like, okay, well, I never want to be that. And so that's why I don't go out of my way to try to ask for help. I never want to be that. But you're not going to be that, because it's not in your nature. Some people are wired to be that way. There's people who are wired to just naturally not feel bad about burdening people, to not feel bad about being insensitive, to not feel bad about being inconsiderate. You're not wired to be that way, so you're not that way. You're not going to be that way. You asking someone for help when you really need it is not the equivalent of you being those types of inconsiderate people in the past. It's not the same thing. It would take a lot of work for you to get to that point where you're completely fine with burdening people, and you're not wired that way. So I don't think you really have to worry about being that way or being perceived that way. Like I said, it's all in your mind. So just don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what I'm seeing. I am also seeing for some of you, it looks like there's a connection here that it looks like it's hit like a rough patch, or I'm feeling like some cold energy between you and this person. Some sort of issues or some sort of problems that's causing you to feel cold or causing them to feel cold. But it's like you're trying to, I feel like this energy is like sweeping the issues under the rug and trying to just go back to your normal routine or your normal patterns with the person, but you can't. Whatever it is that has been happening, like the problems between you and this person, they're still there. Even if you try to sweep it under the rug, and even if you try to go back to the way things were, even if you're holding on to the good times and you're just trying to focus on the good and focus on the positive, that's not going to work for long because you're sweeping the issues under the rug, is what I'm seeing. And the resentment is still there, no matter how much you try to act like it's not there and how much you try to, like I said, just focus on the positive and get back to being positive and get back to, you can't do that. The resentment is still there. Like some issues have to be addressed. They have to be addressed. And for some of you, this could tie into what I said about you feeling like you're a burden. So you not wanting to address certain issues could be that you don't want to be like dismissed, or you don't want to feel like you're nagging them, or you don't want to. But if that's the case, then is that really the person for you? And this doesn't just have to be romantic. This could be family. This could be friends. If you cannot address someone about something that is hurting you because you feel like it'll be dismissed, or you feel like, oh, I don't want to cause any problems by expressing my feeling, then that's probably not the right person for you then. Because you should be able to express your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions with this person, and they should help walk you through it, or they should help you work through it with them. Like, it should be a team effort to work through it. Just because you're bringing up your emotions, it doesn't mean that you're nagging, or doesn't mean that you're trying to argue. And if someone's making you feel that way, then, like I said, they may not be the person for you, or you may need to reevaluate the relationship. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. As long as it's like I said, the communication just has to be respectful, and it has to be like, I'm not saying that you should go and start cursing them out and then that they should comply to that, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that some of you just don't even want to bring up the issues because you feel like you get shut down or shut out when you bring up the issues. So if that's the case, like I said, you probably need to reevaluate. And on the other end of this, if you're the other person, like, be open to your loved one coming to you and being able to express themselves without shutting them out immediately. Hear them out is what I'm hearing. Don't shut them out immediately. But I feel like for most of you, you're on the other end where you're the one being shut out, or you're the one being dismissed. And like I said, you got to reevaluate your relationship in that case. All right, Pisces. So that's that. Also, you don't want to take any action prematurely is what I'm hearing. Be very careful what you're putting your action into, because I'm seeing that some of you could get really the words that my guides are sending me is like the words riled up. You could get really riled up and put your energy into something, and it could be kind of impulsive, and then you can end up regretting it. So be careful of that. Be careful of taking action impulsively based solely off your emotions. Be very careful of that, because it could feel very, very justified in the moment, and then later on you could feel like, well, okay, shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have said that. Be very careful of that. All right. Oh, we're at 15 minutes already. Okay, let's wrap this up. So your blessings or your good news that's coming into you. We have the thoughts card, and we have the 3 of Wands in the reverse. Oh, okay. So I'm seeing here that in the upcoming weeks, a blessing that may be coming into you is some sort of new creative ideas or some sort of new creative hobby that is solely for your enjoyment. It's not something that you're eventually going to start selling. Like, it's not something that you're going to monetize. It's not something that you're worried about mastering it in the long run. It's something that you genuinely can just sit and enjoy. Like when you're a kid and maybe you're like coloring in your coloring book, you're not sitting and thinking, you know, oh, I'm going to master this. I'm going to get so good at this. I'm going to put in my 10,000 hours so I can be a master at this. You're just sitting and enjoying your coloring book. I'm sure there's like the exceptional genius child that thinks that way, but for the most part, when you're a kid and you're taking part in something fun, you're not thinking about how you're going to get better at it or how you're going to monetize it and make money off of it. You know, when you're outside playing tag with your friends, you're just having fun. You're not thinking like, oh, I'm going to get faster and faster every time I play this so that I can beat everyone. And like, it's not like this competitive thing. Like, you're just outside having fun. You're not thinking like, oh, I'm going to get so good at this so I can start charging people to play tag with me. Like, you're not, you're not. Like I said, there's probably some exceptional kids that do think that way. Um, but for the most part, yeah, it's like think back to those hobbies or those things you used to do as a kid and how you would just do them just for the sake of having fun. I feel like a blessing is coming in where you're going to find something creative to do, or you're going to have some sort of creative idea that is strictly there for your enjoyment and for your fun, and it's not anything that you have to worry about practicing or turning it into some sort of work. So that is a blessing within itself. Okay, so that is it, Pisces. I hope that that was helpful. If you want to watch any of the other videos, you can go ahead and do that because, like I said, this applies to your sun, moon, rising, and Venus, so you can watch your videos for those signs as well. And if not, I will see you guys in my upcoming videos.